So we'll proceed straight to the reports of the RWG that we didn't complete in the last session. We're moving into the Regional Secretary's report. The motion reads, this, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the report of Mr. Edward Ama, Secretary of IPSF African Regional Office, 2023-2024. Edward is currently update. Oh, sorry. Can someone propose to resume standing orders?
Proposal to resume
Standing orders. UPSA Uganda. Seconder. Anyone to second? PSF done. Okay, so we can resume. I'll read the motion once again. This, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the report of Mr. Edward Ama, Secretary of IPSF African Regional Office, 2023-2024 mandate. Secretary, have we been able to get him on phone? Maybe just to notify you, Edward is a bit sick. He's currently in hospital, so we may not be able to have him on phone for long, but let's see if we can get him.
Hello, Eddie. I'm about to. Okay. How much time do you need before we can issue? Yes, I can hear you. How long do you need? How long do you need before you're able to submit the report? I can do it. Can you get me clearly?
Okay, so Edward has just texted that he's having a few problems with his network. So would it be okay if we proceed to the next motion and then, okay, so if you agree, just wave some green card, then we can proceed. Okay, so we'll proceed to Mr. Yusuf's report as we give time to Edward to okay, so let's give the secretary some time to try and reach Yusuf. gotten Yusuf on phone, so we'll proceed to his motion. Okay, so on to the next motion, motion 11. This, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the report of Mr. Yusuf Babatunde, IPSF AfRO Regional Projects Officer, 2023-2024 mandate. He is currently on phone. Okay,
Hello,
so
Yusuf. I'm about. Okay, you're on loudspeaker.
Okay.
Mr. Yusuf, please motivate your annual reports. You can give a motivation speech on your annual report.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. And everyone in the house. My name is Yusuf Babatunde. I'm the current regional sales officer for IPSF AfRO. In 3 minutes on air. In the next 3 minutes, I'll be motivating my annual report. So yes, this is a very interesting period for me as a regional sales officer. But I'm tasked with the responsibilities to coordinate everything projects for the region across 3 portfolios: 1 public health, 2 pharmacy education, and lastly on professional development. Firstly, as a committee, as a subcommittee, we ensure to first of all ensure that we continue the past projects that have been laid by our predecessors. So we ensure that all public health campaigns from previous mandates were continued adequately. Then we also created new public health campaigns. For instance, the November month, we brought it back. Anti-skin bleaching campaign, we also brought it back, and also the diet coach awareness campaign. We also ensure that when we increase the participation of our projects by more than 800%, really it has been a very, very good to see many of the member organizations participating more in our projects, and we are deeply grateful for that. I personally am deeply grateful for that. This was done by one coordinating with the contact person of each MO and also working together with the regional relations officer to ensure that our projects are deeply participated. Also, we ensure that we develop more innovative means to celebrate various projects. For instance, during the World Asthma Awareness Week, the IPSF AfRO led the first of its kind virtual global forum on AMR, where we found up to 1,700 participants across 23 countries participating in the project. And IPSF AfRO led this project by myself, and we kind of put in the spotlight, working with at least up to 15 new stakeholders that were brought on board. This also led us to be incorporated into other opportunities like the AMR Alliance Task Force, in which the chairperson, Michelle, is being the contact person there as well. Also, we strengthened professional capacity for pharmacy students in the region. We held 2 professional workshop series on graduate schools, how to write scholarship application, how to write statement of purposes, and also optimizing medication therapy management through data and analytics. We also equipped our members through workshop competitions in pharmacists, patient counseling events, clinical skills events. Everything was done under the 3rd edition of the AfRO Olympics. We also launched the Amateur Week in partnership with IPSF AfRO, in which we received 9 submissions for projects, and all 9 submissions were for IPSF AfRO, meaning the grand prize limited to IPSF AfRO. Also for public health, we held the 7-day breast cancer awareness month, World Mental Health Day, and we ensured for the first time that Francophone countries are incorporated in literally all of our projects. More than 85% of our projects were translated in French, and we had for the first time the French version of the AfRO Olympics, for the first time the French version of the Researchathon workshop, for the first time French flyers for the World Polio Day, which was the first bilingual workshop that we had with Professor Rose Banalike from Cameroon. Lastly, we ensured that
If you could round up.
Okay, yeah. Lastly, we ensure that we release occasional emails of ongoing opportunities in public health and in the region to IPSF AfRO. So we sent out about 4 emails on different opportunities to all CPs for dissemination to their countries. And and I'm very glad to see that many of the opportunities were secured by members of IPSF AfRO. Moving forward, to ensure a seamless transition, I will facilitate a very progressive process to my successor, and I'm also committed to be available at all times for support and guidance on technical matters. There were challenges, definitely, and we hope to learn lessons from them and ensuring that my successor do not have the same challenges or make the same mistakes. Thank you, the Regional Assembly. I'll be available to take questions. That's it, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Yusuf, for the amazing motivational motivation for your report. I'd open the floor. We'll move to open discussion. I'll open the floor to the RA to ask any question, give any comments towards Yusuf's report. Questions, comments? You can. Okay, let me see. You can. The Google form was shared today morning, and you have the speakers' registration numbers as well. So, if in case you have any comments, new comments, you can just type an I on the Google form. It should be in the official delegates group. I don't see any. I don't see any comments. Going once, going twice. Okay, so Yusuf, there are no comments or questions at the moment. We'll proceed to voting. Anyone against accepting and adopting Yusuf's report? Anyone against it? Anyone abstaining from accepting and adopting Yusuf's report? Anyone? Okay, so your report has passed unanimously. Mr. Yusuf, congratulations and great work for this mandate.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, Ari. It's been a pleasure, really. Thank you.
Okay. Okay then. Okay, so will we try Edward again? Okay, we'll proceed to the next motion. We've been able to get Mr. Edward on phone, so he's currently available. This, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the report of Mr. Edward Ama, Secretary of IPSF African Regional Office 2023-2024 mandate. I'll invite Mr. Edward to give his motivation speech to his report. Eddie, you can go ahead.
All right. Greetings to the Regional Assembly. Sorry, I apologize for not being able to present today at the Regional Assembly. I am currently very ill. That's just what I have to say for, just apologize. And for my report, I've currently made everything very readable and contains every information as to things that I have done and things that work according to my annual plan report. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, please do go on to ask me.
I hope we all had. So we'll proceed to open discussion. Anyone with a comment or question towards Mr. Edwards' report? Any questions or comments towards Mr. Edwards' report? already mentioned it in the OD training, but with the reports or any type of bid or any type of nomination, you restrict your questions to what has been presented or what is currently in the report. So as we have mentioned, Edward is currently in hospital. He isn't able to go through his report in detail. So if in case you've gone through his report, you can just ask a question directly related to his report. If you've gone through his report. Any questions, comments? Any questions, comments? Final call, any questions or comments? Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, maybe you can just proceed. Registration number 102, you have the floor. 102. Kadi, it was an error. Okay, you are testing the system out. Okay, anyone with a comment? Okay, we'll proceed to voting. Anyone against the adoption, accepting and adopting Mr. Edwards' report? Anyone against? Anyone abstaining from voting from Mr. Edwards' report? Anyone abstaining? Okay, congratulations, Edward. Your report has been passed unanimously. Thank you for the great work. Edward?
Yes, thank you very much to the Regional Assembly for accepting my report. As I started this mandate, obviously I started with very good energy and good strength, and I've been able to perform my duties to the maximum, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys have been able to witness what I have done for you guys and what we have done for the region, or what the RWD for the 2023-2024 mandate has done for the region. I'm very grateful to serve you guys, and I look forward to having a good time with you guys in the future. See you guys later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. Okay, thank you. We will proceed to the next agenda point. Okay, next we're going to the final RWG report. This, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the report of Mr. Alpha Aziz Jallo, Chairperson of the 12th IPSF African Pharmaceutical Symposium 2024. I'll invite Mr. Jallo to the stage to give a motivation speech on his report.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I hope we all had a sound sleep. I'll quickly go through my report. So, as an RC, we've made sure to work on the following in this mandate till now. So my responsibility as a chairperson was to oversee every plan by every member of the exception committee. We made sure to put a team together that made the committee together. Each and every member of the committee brought up a work plan with which they had to work and provide regular monthly updates. We had a proper documentation and record keeping. Documentation team led by the documentation officer has achieved tremendous goals. We successfully managed the registration process for over 100 delegates, ensuring smooth and efficient registration procedures. We compiled and maintained accurate records of all participants, including attendance, contact information, and registration fees. We also developed and implemented a comprehensive documentation system for symposium materials, ensuring easy access for future reference. Our fundraising team which handled the fundraising and financial prudence. We made sure to have put together a bank account that was created in both USD and Leon's denominations to aid transactions. Several companies were approached for sponsorships, with which we had a few that came on board for the success of this event. We, however, made a few achievements with our fundraising point. We developed and managed a detailed budget for the symposium, ensuring efficient allocations of funds, secured some fundraisings from sponsors and partnerships contributing to this event's financial viability. We also maintained an accurate financial records and reports, ensuring transparency and accountability in managing symposium funds. We had a few challenges, of course, in securing efficient funds to meet the ambitious scope of the symposium. We are managing financial transactions and reporting in the resource-constrained environment, and that should be noted down. Overseeing the planning of all education and scientific events. We had a few achievements for planning of all education and scientific events as well. We developed a comprehensive scientific program and diverse presentations, workshops, and panel discussions. We worked with the LIT coordinator to ensure successful planning of LIT. We successfully recruited renowned speakers and experts in pharmaceutical field, contributing to the high-quality contents of the symposium. We ensured the smooth execution of all scientific sessions, maintaining a high standard of academic rigor and engagement. A few recommendations. We developed a long-term strategy for identifying and engaging potential speakers and experts. We also implemented a feedback mechanism to solicit attendee inputs for improving future programs. For the media and publicity, we managed to reach out to all associations to learn their concerns so we could promote adequately. We created social media pages, Instagram and Twitter, to help the promotion of the event, supervise the development of the symposium website. We also developed and implemented a comprehensive media strategy to raise awareness about the symposium. We utilized various media platforms, including social media, press releases, and online publications to promote the events effectively. We captured and disseminated high-quality photographs, and videos of the symposium, documenting key events and showcasing the participants. We, however, faced a few challenges. At the initial start of this, we wanted to have a translation team for the Francophones. We were going to utilize an array room that would contain a translation mega system for the Francophones. It was quite unfortunate that we couldn't achieve that as a result of utility of the government official. They had an urgent and emergency program that came on board, so we had to switch to this hall and utilize. And unfortunately, we couldn't provide a translator for the Francophones, of which we deeply regret, and we hope that the maximum understanding will be met. For the logistics team, we secured and managed the symposium venue. We ensured adequate space and resources for all events. We coordinated transportation and accommodation for participants, ensuring smooth logistics throughout the event. We developed and implemented a comprehensive logistic plan, addressing all aspects of the symposium, from registration to catering and technical support. We faced a few challenges, however, managing logistical complexities in a developing country with limited resources, especially having a high and ambitious plan for the symposium. Ensuring smooth coordination and communication across multiple teams and vendors, such as providing necessary internet connections or SIM cards that would be valid for the usage of delegates. Addressing unforeseen logistical challenges that can arise during large-scale events. We were, however, able to manage to pull this off. Only a few were not able to meet. A few recommendations. We want to build a strong relationship with the logistical providers to ensure efficient service delivery. Invest in training for logistical staff to enhance their skills and knowledge. We also want to develop a detailed contingency plan to address potential logistical issues. Our overall impacts and future directions entails expanding reach and inclusivity, increased participation from diverse stakeholders, including researchers, regulators, policymakers, and community organizations. Strengthening partnerships. We want to see collaborations with regional and international organizations to enhance resources, expertise, and reach. We want to develop sustainable solutions, focusing on addressing critical challenges facing the pharmaceutical sector in Africa, including access to medicines, affordability, and innovation. We also want to invest in capacity building, support programs for young professionals and researchers to develop skills and knowledge in the pharmaceutical field. We look forward to promoting advocacy and policy change as well, to advocate for policies and regulations that foster a thriving pharmaceutical sector in Africa. By embracing these considerations, the African Pharmaceutical Symposium will continue to serve as a vital platform for driving progress in the pharmaceutical sector. With this, I would like to rest here and thank you all for your attention.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Aziz, for your motivation and presentation. I'll open the floor for open discussion. Any questions, comments directed to Mr. Aziz based on the report that he has provided? Any questions or comments? Okay. Oh, finally. So, 127, Mr. UPSA Uganda, you have the floor.
Nicholas, UPSA Uganda. Maybe just a comment, I would like to thank Mr. Aziz for the information that I attended the LIT. That's really nice time.
Yes, Nicholas, UPSA Uganda. I'd like to thank Mr. Aziz for the preparation for the symposium. I know it's not easy, and I attended the LIT. It was nice. I like the idea of us staying in the apartments, and we were staying 5 in each apartment, and it was really interactive because when you're staying 2 people in a hotel, it's kind of limiting to the interactions. So I got to meet new people we're all from different countries where we were staying. So it was kind of interactive, and we had someone cooking for us, making for us, dishes from different countries. And it was a very, very nice, Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you for the comments, UPSA Uganda. So we will move to the next speaker, 128, ZPSA Zimbabwe. You can have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair Lady, for protocol observed. Nicodemus Mcheli as a PSA Zimbabwe. So, first of all, I would want to appreciate the efforts of the chairperson of this AFPs together with his reception committee. With regards to us from the south, it was very tiresome. I think I spent close to 2 days of traveling just to get here, and most of the times we changed plans. And initially it was just myself was supposed to come because of finances, I think. But we managed to opt in about 5 delegates who are going to come. One is going to arrive today. And Aziz has been helping us every step of the way. And each time I would check on him, he would always respond. Particularly mentioning today, around 3, I had to update him on some of the progress that we have made. Like I told you, there's one delegate who's also arriving today due to some technical issues, but he actually responded to my text. When I texted him at 3:45, by 3:50 he had responded and assured me that he's going to assist us. So, that kind of support that they gave us, to me, it was exceptional. Also, appreciating the same, like what UPSA Uganda mentioned as well, to say when we had our LIT, it was very educative. I also got the opportunity to visit the whole hospital during our breaks and get to learn more not only about the LIT, but even the scope of practice with regards to hospital pharmacy. Even the trainers that came, they managed to make sure that we would engage with them, they would follow up on us. If one of us just leaves the room, they would try to see, are you safe? Where are you? Is everything okay? You know, things like that. So I want to appreciate and hands off to the chairperson and the RC. Thank you.
Thank you, CPSS Zimbabwe, for the comments. We'll move directly to a direct comment that has come in. 120 PSF Ghana. You have the floor.
So I think my colleagues have said it, what they've been saying, what my colleagues have been saying. I want to reiterate it. Last year Ghana hosted, and this year they're doing it. They brought about new innovations and all of that. Now we know that we can even explore the apartment option, maybe for LIT. Even if you get an apartment option, you can explore that for the main symposium. Delegates, feedback from some delegates. Some people didn't even want to come to the hotel because of how the apartment is. You're free to cook your own food, the comfort and everything. So I think that these are lessons that we can learn from this AFPS, and we can all take note from it. Countries wishing to host in subsequent editions can all take key notes from it. There are a lot of positives here that I believe that we are all being appreciative of, and going forward I believe we can better our regional symposia and all of that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the comments. We have a new comment from 138 Kapsa Cameroon. You have the floor.
Elena Fonji, Kapsa Cameroon. I would like to thank the chairperson because he was very responsive throughout our preparation. It was really not easy for us to make it here. And also at the airports, we had issues. We almost missed our flights because of never had hotel reservations and all that. But we reached out to the chairperson, and in less than 2 minutes, he was able to sort the issue out, and we were able to clear the immigration and we did not miss our flights. So we are grateful, and also for the fact that all our delegates, CAPSA delegates, have really been appreciating the scenery, the symposium proper, and they are the symposium has been up to their standards. Like they are overwhelmed, and they are looking forward to the next AFPS, and that is what we want. So Mr. Aziz, CAPSA is grateful.
Next, we're going to 118 PSF Ghana. You have the floor.
Madam Kofi, PSF Ghana. Thank you so much. Everyone has said some beautiful things, and it's true. We want to say big thank you to Mr. Aziz Jalo. We hope that subsequently some of the platforms like communication can, I think, be better innovated for everybody. I'm sure a lot of the problems with the network barriers and all of that. So we realize that we pass one message, some people hear it in a different way, somebody sees something else. So I really hope that subsequently the communication can be upped so that everybody is aware of what exactly you're expected to do when you come. In as much as we are aware of that, I mean, preparing for unforeseen circumstances as well. But besides that, we are very grateful for all the hard work you've put in. I think we're enjoying the symposium so far. Oh, and thank you for the SIM cards too.
In the absence of any other comments, we will move to voting. Okay, we'll move to voting. We'll be using our voting cards just as yesterday. Anyone against the acceptance and the adoption of Mr. Jalo's annual report? Anyone against? Anyone against? Okay. Anyone abstaining from accepting and adopting Mr. Jalo's report? Anyone abstaining? Anyone abstaining? Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Jalo. Your report has been passed unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. On behalf of my reception, the entire reception committee, I want to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to you all. And I must admit that I'm overwhelmed that we were able to pull a few strings to make sure you guys feel at home and have a very beautiful symposium. With all the comments that have been made, you guys leave me suspended in speechlessness. But anyways, we look forward to having the best of the rest of the symposium. Thank you guys very much.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to the next motion, which is now on the reports of the member organizations. Okay. So this, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly approves the annual member organization report of ADEFAM Ivory Coast, AMEF Mozambique, AAP Mali, IFAN Niger, AAPSN Senegal, ISFAB Benin, IFAM Guinea, IFAT Togo, CEFAM Burkina Faso, CEFAM BF Burkina Faso, CAPSA Cameroon, CEP UOB DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, IPSA Eswatini, IPSA Ethiopia, KESA Kenya, MUPSA Uganda, NAPSSL Sierra Leone, PANS Nigeria, FAMSA UL Liberia, PSAS Zambia, PSF GH Ghana, RPSA Rwanda, SAPSAF South Africa, TAPSA Tanzania, UPSA Uganda, ZPSA Zimbabwe. Shall we proceed straight to voting, or would you like to discuss the report? Okay, we will proceed straight to voting. Anyone against accepting the report submitted by all of these member organizations? Anyone abstaining from voting? Okay, congratulations, official delegates and your members. Your reports have been accepted in the 13th. RA, that was really good. Yeah. It was really good, 100% submission. Okay, the next motion was to reject any reports of member organizations that didn't submit, but since we had 100% submission, this motion will not be covered. Okay, next we are moving to the financial reports. Okay, I don't know, I'll brief, okay. There are 3 financial reports by the regional office, then there is 1 financial report by the AFPS team. We'll begin with the financial reports of the regional office, then move to the financial report of the AFPS team. I'll request the secretary to project the final financial report for the last mandate. Okay, so this is the final financial report of the year 2023. The IPSF financial year mostly begins from January to December, unlike the mandates that start from October to October. So the final financial report for last year is being presented this year because the financial report of last year ended in December. So basically this is it. But on the income, we normally get a standard of 2,000 euros from IPSF Global. Maybe, first of all, the regional office doesn't have a bank account. We mostly work with the global bank account, and it's on reimbursement. It's on reimbursement model. So any expense that we make, it will be reimbursed, but we first have to spend, then it will be reimbursed. So in terms of the income, we were allocated 2,000 euros from the IPSF Global office. On the regional results, this is just extra funds in case we kind of have extra expenditures during the mandate. Then for the sponsorship, comes in through external sponsors. we received €1,000 last mandate from Amata. And then for the merchandise income, this was based on what was sold last year during the AFPS. It's actually supposed to be $13. I'll make that edit. So income from selling the merchandise. So this was what was presented during the last RA, but now this is the corrected version of what was actually used by the end of the year. In terms of expenses, the first major expense was the AWG travel expense. Now, most AWG members, when they make travel towards major IPSF AfRO events, such as the AFPS, you get a certain percentage of reimbursement. Out of the 1750, all of it was utilized. So since last year, most of the AWG members are within Ghana, we didn't really spend much on that. I think we just missed one. I got some, the secretary for last mandate got a reimbursement. Then, here. So for the 11th AFPS, David and Michelle Mayuba got a reimbursement. For the 73rd WHO Afro Africa RC, David and Yaun Fuafo got a reimbursement. So since not much was spent on the AFPS, there was extra funds, so reimbursement was done for the WHO Afro meeting. So for the project grant, unfortunately, we weren't able to run that grant last mandate, so no money was spent, and this was forwarded to the next mandate, which is this mandate. On the membership grant, €255 was allocated, and only 2 member organizations applied. GPSA Ghana at that time and CAPSA Cameroon each got full sponsorship for both, which comes to $227.76. For the AFPS Professional Development Awards, we didn't have the PD competitions last mandate during the AFPS, so we didn't spend that money. For the AFPS grant, $370 was allocated, and these are the winners who got the grant, which was directly paid to the member organization or the RC team that hosted the AFPS. For the best CP, SEO, and MO awards, to the best of my knowledge, they weren't, the names were announced, but they weren't awarded. But the award will be given this year during the AFPS in one of the social events. So it was meant to be for the production of plaques and certificates. Next is the annual regional merchandise. No money was allocated to reprint merchandise. Those ones that you can see from the last mandate were printed during the mandate of Tanzania when we went to Tanzania. So no money was spent on printing merchandise last year. So this is the final. Initially we anticipated an expense of €2,775, but $2,347.76 was used. But then, okay, so as per the income, this is the income that was brought in and this is the expense. There's a difference of around €1,000 that wasn't used because we weren't able to implement the Amata project last year. And now this €1,000 of sponsorship was moved to this mandate where we have conducted the Amata projects as the regional projects officer announced. Yeah, so this is the final financial report of 2023. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'd be open to answer them or give any clarifications that you might have. Any questions? Oh, sorry, I keep on forgetting. There's no, okay, go back. Okay, 128 ZPSA Zimbabwe.
Okay, Nicodemus Micheleda, ZPSA Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, Chair Lady, for such a comprehensive budget and clarification on almost all the issues. I just have got a suggestion to the RA of this year. I think €2,000 might not be enough for us to fully function. So I think in the next, when you're going to go for the board conference suggestion, maybe we can put a motion to increase the budget in the funding, because I don't 2,000 euros is enough. But, well, because I see us doing things which are bigger, but sometimes I feel like funding might be a limitation. So I think we can find in a motion so that we can go for world progress, praying that it will be in Africa. We'll be there and we'll definitely do push for that. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Maybe just a point of information as well, just to support what Nicholas has said. During the executive board meeting that happened in March, the same discussion was had, and the treasurer is open to increasing the amount of funding that comes with the regional office, but it has to come from the member organizations, just as he has mentioned. So the RWG might have a little bit limited power, but you guys have the power to actually suggest it and make it. Thank you so much. In the absence of any other comments, should we move to voting? Anyone against the final financial report of 2023? So it's supposed to be 2023, not 2024. Okay, sorry. Anyone against the motion? Anyone abstaining from voting? Okay, the motion has been passed unanimously. Can we move to the next financial report? Intermediate. Okay, so I'll just read the motion before I proceed. This, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the intermediate financial report, IPSF AfRO Budget 2024. So, at the beginning of the mandate last year, I prepared a draft proposed financial budget for this mandate, and I think by January I shared it with all contact persons so that they can give in their comments. Since there was no comments or edits at that point, we proceeded with the proposed budget, and now, since we are currently at the RA, this is the intermediate budget. Since we're in the middle of the year, the final budget for 2024 will come at the end of the year. So in terms of income, again, for this mandate we received 2,000 USD. We'll just mostly focus on this. I finalized on the budget in June 24th, so we'll just proceed with these figures. For external sponsorships, we got 1,000 USD. Most of the other external euros. Most of the other external sponsorships we got in terms of funds were either directed towards the AFPS, which I think might be covered later, or they were given in form of grants, like the awards that were given for the AMR project competition that was held last year, November. So we didn't really receive an amount of money within our regional office. Most of them are already directed into other projects. In terms of the regional reserves, we received 750. Sorry, that must have been an error. Initially, we received 750. This should also be 750. I don't know. I made an error on that. I'm sorry. Then for the IPSF membership, so for the IPSF membership grant support, this year we received a bit of an overwhelming number of grant applications for the membership fee support. So I had to have a meeting with the treasurer, and we tapped into the IPSF Global Development Fund. So they were willing to support or to complement our budget to a certain extent. So we got an extra 210 euros of support from the global office to assist us in covering some of the membership fees for our members. I'll proceed to the expenses. So for the expenses, this year we allocated 1820 towards the RWG reimbursement. We still haven't done that yet, so we haven't finalized on it, we haven't used it. For the project grant, there was the grant call that was released in May. We received, I think, one application. We still haven't reviewed it, so we haven't allocated it, but then I'm confident that we'll be allocating the project's grant. The 100 euros will be utilized for this mandate. For the membership grant, as I mentioned, we initially budgeted 210 euros, but then we received an overwhelming amount of applications, so we got some extra funds from the, initially we were to spend now 352 if we funded all member organizations. But then since we didn't have that budget, the global office supplemented it, and all of these except IFN Niger also applied for the grant, but they ended up having some funds to pay, so we excluded them. But all of these member organizations were awarded the grant for their membership fee, and they were cleared for this mandate. For the AFPS PD awards, we'll be having a patient counseling event and an industrial skills event later in the AFPS. We have allocated 110 euros towards it. I'm hopeful that we'll spend most of it, or if not all of it. So this is what we'll put aside 110 euros. For the AFPS grant, we had put aside 250 euros, which also comes to around $260, which was the fees for the first phase registration. We announced the winner, Anne Fonji from CAPSA Cameroon. She was awarded, and the money will be reimbursed to the FPSRC. For the annual Best CP SEO Projects and MO award, we have put aside 160 euros for that. We are planning to utilize it, so we will be awarding people who were mentioned last year and those who will win this year. For the annual regional merchandise, we allocated 100 euros, but then we ended up spending a little bit more because what was pre-ordered more was the hoodies, and the hoodies are a little bit more expensive to produce. So I'm kind of positive that the profits will balance out the gap, but then this will be subject to revision. But we've definitely used more than 100 euros. Hopefully we'll make more profits. For the Amateur Week project competition, so for the Amateur Week sponsorship that came in the last mandate, we split it into two. One, there was the social media campaign which was conducted, and two, there was the project competition where member organizations were to conduct activities or projects around AMATA, the Africans Medicines Agency Treaty Alliance. So the projects got 750 euros, the social media campaign got 250 euros. For the social media campaign, to the best of my knowledge, we already have a winner. We're just yet to release it. For the projects competition, we're still waiting to have a meeting with the regional projects officer to discuss more on that. So as of now, we have only spent 602.08 euros, but I'm anticipating that we will probably spend 382.920 or 3,892.08 euros. Yeah, which will almost balance out. Yeah. So that is the intermediate report for the mandate for this so far. I'll open the floor for any questions or comments or suggestions on how best we could improve or proceed with the financial budget for this mandate. Any questions, comments, suggestions? 127, direct comment. direct comment.
Nicholas Uganda. Just commenting.
Okay, David, motions complete.
Motions committee, point of order. A direct comment is supposed to be directed to a new comment. So if you are going to make a new comment, kindly type a new comment and then the floor will be given to you.
Yeah, it wasn't. I meant to tap new comment, but I tapped direct comment. It was an error. Mine is it's just a comment on the AfRO match. I would maybe like to know if the AfRO match is making some funds for IPSF AfRO, and if this is a good venture for us, because I know maybe other member organizations may be using match as a source of revenue, and I want to know how the match is going to supplement on the budget of IPSF AfRO.
Okay, thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. Maybe I just first highlight IPSF is non-profit. As much as we are making some profits through the merchandise, we have to be a little bit careful when we are moving. Yeah, when we are, okay, most of the time, we mostly say we are making the merchandise to promote the IPSF spirit so that we don't go against the constitution. But on close discussion, I will say that definitely the merchandise makes some profit. For this mandate, I'm hoping that the profits will move towards the regional reserves so that the next team have a little bit more budget space. If in case we successfully have an increased budget, the next team will also have more reserves within the regional account. But it is definitely a good approach. When I talked to a couple of alumni from 2019, they say that actually the merchandise helps them to generate extra revenue for some extra expenses, especially because Africa is a little bit unique in terms of everything is a bit expensive. Not only just the RWG travels, but then also the grants. So members are not able to pay their membership fee. Some members have been asking for the grants to help them in projects. So we have a lot more needs. We can definitely focus a little bit more on the merchandise to try and generate extra profits, but we will have to tread carefully towards it to still stay within the confines of a non-profit organization. Yeah, I hope I've addressed your comment. Your direct comment. So the next is 120 PSF GH Ghana. Oh, is it a technical or a new comment? You have to fill the form, please. Yes, Kevin, sorry.
I just want to applaud the efforts of the regional working group for being able to look for more funds to at least support member organizations and paying their membership fees. We all know the part of the world that we find ourselves in, how hard it is to come by money and all of that. And so to ensure the sustainability and the continued progress or the continued existence of our member organizations, I believe these are, going forward, these are areas or places that we need to channel in our focus and helping our MOs with carrying out activities and paying their membership fees and all of that. So 6 is a very good number, and I applaud the RWG for it.
121 IPSF Rwanda.
Gideon Munavicha, IPSF Rwanda. So I wanted to ask, how do you raise funds once you don't have bank account? Like, is AfRO allowed to find partners for its own? Like all of the sponsors or the partners, they can't like give you money if you don't have account. So how do you do that? Thank you.
So, just as you've highlighted, the regional office does not have a bank account. As per the constitution, which we had to use once AfRO was formed, there's only one bank account which is based in the Netherlands. And all of us, like all regional offices, use that bank account. So yes, we are allowed to get external sponsorships. Most of the time, if we get external sponsorships, it goes directly to the IPSF bank account, then we are allowed to access it from there. So it's like, maybe if you're a child now, if visitors come, your parents take the money, then you go collect it from your parents later on. So we can get external sponsors who pay directly to the bank account, and then we receive it from there. But then what we've been doing, especially for this mandate, now like, I think we're still stable. So now for this mandate, specifically for the AMR competition that happened in November, the winners were directly given money. So they received the money directly. We just gave them the bank accounts of the winners. The sponsors received the bank accounts of the winners, so they were given the money. Although a few, I'm aware that the money bounced back, and we're still working on the logistics, but they receive it directly. For the sponsors, we coordinated to support the AFPS. We directly like gave the AFPS bank account. So like AFPMA will be wiring the amount directly to them. DTH Labs wired the money directly to them. And I think any other sponsor that will be coming up soon, we shared the bank account as the RRO will be confirming. Yeah, so that's how we try and go around the loopholes. We can't technically set up a bank account for the African Regional Office. It's in the constitution, unless now the member organizations again, you go and propose that for ease of work, we should have our own bank account, but it's just the limitations in the constitutions. Unless we ourselves decide to change it, we'll have to work on it. But I will acknowledge, and at least I'll repeat again, actually for some sponsors, they are a little bit hesitant in supporting. I think it was Clientelis Africa. We had initially approached them to sponsor a couple of the activities, including the AFPS, but then once we sent them the IPSF bank account and it's in Europe, they turned down and they said they'll only send money within for accounts within Africa. So we are definitely having some challenges running the regional office with the bank account all the way in the Netherlands, but unfortunately it's within, we have to stay within the constitution, and the change can only come from the member organizations. So if in case you guys, if we can get some, if you guys could propose it in the General Assembly, then we could maybe start discussing it and mention that we're having challenges as a regional office because of that. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question comprehensively. Thank you. There's no internet. Oh.
Okay, I just want to second the direct comment to support what Madam Chair said, that let's have it in mind that we have the liberty and the freedom to raise a motion of us having our own bank account, particularly with the issue that she raised that we might fail to get sponsorship because the bank account is in Netherlands. So I just wanted to second what she said, that we have the power as the member organization. So just to support that, thank you.
The tell Sierra Leone.
Yeah, so thank you very much. What I want to know, in the circumstance that an organization wants to support, but based on the fact that he cannot support using the already existing bank account that is in the Netherlands, and they're having difficulties, what do? You prefer losing the money, or you prefer having a way out to that? And then also, in the circumstance where you've run a project and you have remaining amount of money with you, what do? You send it directly, or you hold it for some time? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For the first comment, I'll just give the practical example of Clientelis Africa that is based in Senegal. Unfortunately, we lost that sponsorship, but then they are now willing, instead of giving monetary sponsorship, we have started conversations in terms of internships and job opportunities, specifically for Afro members who have graduated. Now it will mostly go to the recent graduates, because they have graduated. They want people with credentials. So for the practical example, we had to now negotiate for something else that will benefit the members. But unfortunately, again, we lost the money, because additionally, when they were supposed to come to Sierra Leone, they were coming for a purpose. Maybe I won't disclose that because it was a series of meetings, but they were coming for a specific purpose, and since the purpose was not able to be delivered, we just had to negotiate for something else. Definitely, I can foresee a situation where we'll be losing more money, because a couple of alumni, I think the chairperson from 2018, Mr. Othniel Nambazi from Rwanda, he told me he also lost a couple of sponsorships because of that challenge. So most of the time, I think for now, we can try and negotiate to get something else, or see how to divert it. Because like for us, if any external sponsor is not able to give us the money directly, we'll just shoot it towards the AFPS, and the money will still end up within the regional office, since it's supporting an Afro event. But it's something we have to really discuss and consider. Yeah, but it's the constitution now. The challenge is it's the constitution, and if we want to change the constitution, we have to be in the General Assembly and propose that amendment. Yeah. What was your second question?
My second question was, you carry out a project, and there was a remaining amount of funds. What do? Prefer you have another project that is upcoming. Do you prefer sending the money and then you later call for it, or you pull on it and then you implement the other project that is upcoming?
You mean like a project by the member organizations?
Yeah.
They first do the project, then we reimburse the money. So that like the member organization does the project, then they send a report or any receipts, that some sort of proof that they did it. Then we coordinate to the global office to send the money. So we have to first have a verification that the project was done, because just to be safe and ensure that no one is swindling some money. But if in case the project, like the project's grant, if it wasn't to be utilized, the money is carried forward to the next financial year. So it will still remain within AfRO, and now AfRO will decide where it goes and where it doesn't go, but it stays within the regional office. Except if now the treasurer says you've stayed with this money for too long, so it has to go back to it's rediverted to the global office, so it's used for another expense within the global office. I hope I've explained.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry. Direct comment.
Okay. So Naxos Serene has asked two of my questions. So
Sorry about that.
Just from Daisy and PSF AfRO. So Naxos Serene, as I said earlier, has asked two of my three questions. So my third question is, in case money is coming in, who incurs the charges? Do they send excess? I mean, no bank charges and all that. So do they send excess for your for the charges you incur at the bank, or yes, or is it deducted from the amount, like for example the 2,000 euro cents, or yes, an automated something that says don't deduct? So I I'm curious. I just want to know how what happens.
So far, with my experience, if it's money coming from an external sponsor to the regional office, the sponsor incurs the cost of transfer, except maybe the one challenge we faced with DTH Labs. They were supposed to sponsor €1,000, but it got to 985. I think they didn't include the transaction cost, but then they are sending the $15 separately. So most of the time, the external sponsors incur the cost. If it's IPSF doing the transfer, the global office has to incur the cost because, yeah, we receive the exact that was promised. Yeah, not we don't get the tax. I hope that's clear. Okay. Oh, 109. Oh, Joseph, you already answered. Okay. Any other question on the intermediate reports? Shall we proceed to voting? My laptop just went off. Okay, anyone against the intermediate report for this mandate? Anyone against it? Anyone abstaining from voting? Okay, the intermediate report for the, okay, let me read the motion. It should be this, the 13th. Apologies, that was an error. So this, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the intermediate financial report of the IPSF AfRO budget. It has been accepted unanimously. So we'll move to the last financial budget for the, oh, sorry, technical.
Kevin, PSFG is gonna, I think this place is starting to fill out.
Okay. So we'll move to the last. We'll move to the last financial report submitted by the regional office. So we're moving to the next motion. This, the 13th IPSF AfRO Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the IPSF AfRO Budget 2025 proposal. So also additionally, the Regional Assembly, we propose the budget that will be used in the next year. Technical, yes?
The live stream is not working properly. It is now live back. You can check.
Okay, so in the Regional Assembly, we also propose a budget that will be used in the next financial year, which is 2025. It's normally a very basic allocation. So we are anticipating we'll still receive the €2,000 from the global office, except if maybe during this GA we get some extra funds if in case it's approved. For the regional reserves, the treasurer confirmed that we'll be having an extra but will be allocated €300 from the regional reserves to spend for the next financial year. For the IPSF AfRO merchandise, we are hoping to raise at least €100 of profits. We might surpass that, but it will be confirmed in the final financial budget. For the external sponsorships, we have just, okay, I put €200 just as a hopefully bare minimum of what we will raise, but I'm anticipating with the amount of external relations we've done this mandate, we'll be able to raise extra sponsorships for the next financial year. So So potentially the income will be around 2,600 euros. For the expenses, please scroll down. So for the expenses, it's just the normal, I think we've seen these expenses in the previous reports: the RWG travel, the project grant, membership fee grant, AFPS professional development awards that will be awarded in the next FPS. We've just put potentially patient counseling events, clinical skills event, and compounding event just as tentative, but it's not confirmed because the next RWG and the FPS team have to decide what professional development competitions will happen. For the FPS grant, it will be a standard 250 euros, which comes to around $260. Hopefully, that one, it can either be partial or full sponsorship of one member. For the best individuals awards, we put 100 euros, and the annual regional merchandise, 100 euros. We put 100 euros just tentatively if in case more merchandise will be printed. For this year, we only printed merchandise specific to those who pre-ordered, and then we just added a little bit more for those who love impulse buying. But hopefully, if they're over, we'll have to print a little bit more in the next financial year. So the expenses and the income will basically balance out, but this one, the CPs will review it once again at the end of the year, so that you can decide how you want the money spent. I don't know if anyone has any suggestions on how best we could improve next year's budget. Any suggestions, questions? Okay, let's see. $121, you already spoke. I think that was an old comment. $121, oh, you already. Okay, so anyone, I don't see any new or direct comment. Okay, we'll proceed to voting due to time. Anyone rejecting the proposed budget? Anyone rejecting? Anyone abstaining? Okay, so the proposed budget for 2025 has been passed unanimously.
We have an absent organization, so it not unanimously.
Oh, sorry. He didn't notify the floor that he is. Kindly, if in case you're the only delegate in your member organization and you have to step out, please notify me. Okay. So for the Okay, so we will move to the next financial report, which is the FPS financial report.